Do you have a strong work ethic and wonder why someone won't get a full-time job? Stay tuned for a reading from a frustrated mother whose daughter in her 30s refuses to work more than part-time. Hi everybody, I'm Sue Ellen Clayton. Welcome to my channel where we're learning how to read tarot one card at a time. In today's video, we'll be using a 3-card spread to look at why Courtney will not get a full-time job. We're hoping to answer the question, why does Courtney feel that she doesn't need to work a full-time job, even though that's what the rest of the world does to get ahead? I will be using the Radiant Rider-Waite Tarot, and there is a link below. This reading was done at the request of a 65-year-old mother named Anita. She is married and has a daughter who I will call Courtney. Courtney is an only child in her early 30s who has been living at home for 4 years. Courtney is a college graduate with an in-demand degree. However, Courtney had a very sporadic work history for the first few years following her graduation. Her jobs would start out well for a few weeks or months, but Courtney always felt like she knew better than her bosses and would end up quitting. As a result, Courtney has never been able to meet her expenses and got into massive credit card debt. When the world shut down due to COVID, Courtney decided it was time for a career change. She moved back home and signed up for an expensive 1-year online certification course at an out-of-state private university, which she paid for with a loan from Anita. Employees in this field were greatly in demand, and Courtney promised that she would get a job and immediately repay her parents. Unfortunately, by the end of the 2 semesters, Courtney was once again disillusioned and had no desire to find work after she graduated in May 2021. It has now been more than 3 years, and Courtney has made no attempt to find full-time work, repay her parents, make more than the minimum required payment on her credit card debt, or move out of her parents' home. She has found a couple of remote, very part-time jobs that she's grudgingly done from home, but there is no opportunity for advancement. Any money that Courtney earns goes to support her hobbies, despite the fact that she is enjoying free room and board living with her parents. Anita is understandably very frustrated. She and her husband are hard workers who live modestly. Neither love their jobs, but they have financial responsibilities they need to pay for. Anita is at the point in her life where she and her husband would like to retire, sell their home, move into a condo without a room for a third adult, travel, and enjoy life. The financial burden of caring for their daughter, in addition to her unpaid loans to them, make their retirement goals impossible. Anita came to the reading with this question, quote, why does Courtney feel that she doesn't need to work a full-time job even though that's what the rest of the world does to get ahead? Unquote. So let's get started. I used a hopes, fears, obstacles spread to find out why Courtney did not want to get a full-time job. Card number 1 represents Courtney's hopes. This card explores what Courtney hopes for in relation to employment. Anita drew the Sun card. Card number 2 represents Courtney's fears. This card explores Courtney's fears about getting a job, and Anita drew the 4 of Cups. Card number 3 represents Courtney's obstacles. This card explores the obstacles that are preventing Courtney from seeking employment. Anita drew the World. Before we dive into each card individually, I'll discuss my first impressions. We have 3 cards where the person has a lot going for them. The World is the last card in the Major Arcana, and the Sun is number 19 of 21, so very close to the end. We see sunshine and blue skies. The Sun is one of the most positive cards in the deck, and the World, which is also very positive, is all about someone who has successfully completed their journey. Although the guy in the 4 of Cups appears sullen, he's being handed a gift from Spirit, which he's ignoring, in favor of 3 other cups. He's sitting on a hill surrounded by a beautiful landscape. I was expecting the cards to show some underlying reason why Courtney was not working, perhaps something like the 9 of Swords that showed she was having nightmares at the thought of working. Nope. These are not cards that indicate any kind of hardship or angst on Courtney's part, at least not at first glance. So let's dive into the cards. Card number 1 represents Courtney's hopes. Specifically, what does Courtney hope for in relation to employment? Anita drew the Sun card. The Sun is an optimistic, happy card. It indicates success, achievement, abundance, joy, and personal fulfillment. This is what Courtney is hoping to find in a job. One thing to notice is that we have a baby riding on a white horse. Babies like and need a lot of attention. They are quite happy to be the center of your world, which I get because it's necessary for survival and we do love the little darlings. I can remember after my son was born, my husband and I didn't even watch TV because we just wanted to watch his every move. We even watched him sleep. So I get the feeling that one thing Courtney is looking for is a job where they'll all view her the same way that I viewed my firstborn, basically as the most interesting, precious human on earth who can do no wrong. That's hard to find when you're in your 30s. I think that Courtney is also looking for a job that encompasses some of the other words that I used to describe the Sun card. She wants a place where she can experience success, achievement, abundance, joy, and personal fulfillment. Those are great goals. However, as somebody who's had her share of jobs across many industries, this might not be realistic. We have a running joke in our house that there's a reason they call it work and not fun when you leave the house in the morning. Jobs require effort. You get paid because that's your employer's way of compensating you for the parts of your job that you really don't enjoy. So I'm not surprised that Courtney becomes dissatisfied with her jobs because she is expecting every day to be like a trip to Disneyland. Honestly, I'm not sure if Courtney realizes that even working at Disneyland isn't always fun. They actually employ people to clean up the bathrooms and pick up trash. As an aside, I have a friend who was a cast member at Disney, and he reported that wearing a costume all day long in the hot weather was not especially enjoyable either. In summary, Courtney wants a job that is happy, positive, and fulfilling, where she can be the center of attention and management doesn't think that she can do anything wrong. I added a few editorial comments along the way and feel like her view is pretty immature and unrealistic, so I'm not surprised that she hasn't found employment that meets her high standards. Card number 2 represents Courtney's fears about getting a job. Anita drew the 4 of Cups. The 4 of Cups is about turning away opportunities. In this card, we see Courtney being handed a gift from Spirit, which I assume to be a new job. Yet Courtney is ignoring that opportunity and staring, and not happily, at the 3 cups in front of her. My first impression was that Courtney feels above working. She doesn't feel like she should have to. She doesn't want the job from Spirit, and she doesn't want the other jobs either. Look at her body language. This is not somebody who is open to new opportunities. She is located higher up than the cups farther down the hill, so I'm guessing that she feels she's too good for those opportunities. Perhaps she's ignoring this gift from Spirit because she believes that it will be more of the same and already knows that it's not the job for her. Cups are about emotions. Since this card is about Courtney's fears about getting a job, I think we have to look here. If Anita had pulled a Swords card, I would assume that Courtney thought she wasn't smart enough. A Wands card would indicate that Courtney was afraid she didn't have enough energy. And maybe a Pentacles card would indicate that Courtney didn't feel she could work hard enough or didn't have the specific skills for the job. But here we have Cups. So what is it in her emotional makeup that is creating her apathy toward working? First of all, Anita shared that Courtney had had bad experiences at every job she ever had. I could argue that these were created by her unrealistic expectations, but the fact is that it would still sting and erode her self-confidence. Courtney may feel like she doesn't have the emotional bandwidth to be disappointed again. She may also believe that she will fail in her next job and it won't last anyway, so why try? She may also have encountered bosses who did not think she was the best employee ever, and she won't have to deal with that again if she never gets another job. So I think that Courtney has a lot of fears. She'll have to do things that she considers below her. She's lost her self-confidence. And she knows that another job is potentially more of the same, which she already knows she didn't enjoy. You've made it this far in the video, and I wanted to stop and ask for a favor if you're not already a subscriber. And that is to please hit the subscribe button. It is free for you, and it will also help me grow this channel. Plus, it means that you won't miss anything. Thanks so much, and if you're already a subscriber, I truly appreciate your ongoing support. Now let's get back to the video. Card number 3 represents Courtney's obstacles. We're looking at what obstacles are preventing Courtney from seeking employment, and Anita drew the World. Here we have another super positive card in the Major Arcana, which indicates the completion of the Fool's journey from the naive young man in card 0 to a card of completion, fulfillment, happiness, enlightenment, and success. If you were already employed, the world would indicate that you have successfully completed a project or are moving on to a new position in your career. If Courtney had applied for a job and this card came up, we could assume that she'd be at Human Resources signing the paperwork today. However, the world is in the obstacle position, so it doesn't have the typical meaning, just like the Sun card in the first position. So how can such a positive card be an obstacle? If we look at the woman, she is pausing before the opening. She is completing one journey and moving forward to something new. She is not stopping. The question Anita asked was why Courtney was not willing to get a job. One thing I can think of is that Courtney does not want to be dancing along the path towards what is considered success in a traditional career. She interprets the World card as an obstacle because she really doesn't want to be on the journey to begin with, which goes along with my interpretation of the Four of Cups, where she does not want any of the jobs. She does not want to work. Of course, Anita already knows this, so the question was, why does Courtney not want to work? I'm guessing that, at this point, she does not want to start something new. She is content with her low-stress, part-time job and no real responsibility. Perhaps Courtney is afraid that she can't succeed with a traditional full-time job and doesn't want to try. She might be afraid that it's going to be a repeat of her previously bad experiences, so she already knows that this job won't last. Or perhaps she's lacking self-confidence or dealing with an undiagnosed mental health challenge, such as depression or anxiety, that makes her fearful of growing up and living a productive life. I'm going to remind you of the wording in Anita's question and listen for the word world. Anita asked, why does Courtney feel that she doesn't need to work a full-time job, even though that's what the rest of the world does to get ahead? And here we have the World card. Courtney is pausing and not wanting to do what Anita sees the rest of the world is doing, moving ahead. The short answer is that Courtney does not want to be part of the world for what I believe to be a combination of reasons. So let's summarize. In the Sun card, I felt that Courtney has unrealistic expectations of working. She believes that work should be 100% joyful and fulfilling and expects her employers to recognize how special she is. When it turns out that she's not working at Disneyland, there is a lot of stress and she eventually quits. This has eroded her self-confidence and she has no desire to try again because she feels another job will just disappoint her and be more of the same. In the Four of Cups, we determined that Courtney also believes that some jobs are below her and she is too good for them. Given her history, she expects that jobs that sound amazing will end up including work that she feels is below her. When given a chance between 4 options, her choice is to do nothing. In the obstacle position, we have the World card. Courtney does not want to be part of the world of full-time employment. I feel like Courtney is immature. She's acting like a child in the Sun card and not taking responsibility for her debts and fulfilling her promises to her parents. She's either lacking in self-confidence or dealing with an undiagnosed mental health challenge such as depression or anxiety that make her fearful of growing up. It's easier to opt out of working altogether than to face her fears or resolve her mental health problems. Anita agreed with the reading, which, unfortunately, only confirmed her belief that Courtney had no desire to work full-time. She doesn't want to isn't exactly a sexy answer from this reading, despite the fact that it is true. Anita has long suspected that Courtney may have some kind of underlying mental health issue, but the cards didn't give me any information about what that would be. I hope this video gave you some ideas that you can apply to your tarot practice. Please leave a comment if you'd like to share what you've learned. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.